Oh my god, let's try something.
See what happened on TV
Oh
last
yeah,
night?
I always watch.
Oh my god.
It's so fun. It was so
Yeah,
good.
I watched that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Guys, I'm Stevie.
And I'm Selena,
and this is Twin Talk. And we are so excited to do a little something different for you guys. We reviewed the Slipknot album, the new Slipknot album. It was called
So far. The end so far.
We were thinking about Chainsmokers.
Sorry.
The End So Far. Yes, so it's called The End So Far. And it was interesting because I was actually just doing a little bit of research on, how the album was made and how they felt about it. And the drummer actually said that he felt that he didn't really like this album too much. He felt that it was made too fast, that COVID had like a really large impact on it. And the entire band felt this way, that they sort of felt like this album, they liked the album and they appreciated it for what it was, and they know that they did a good job with the time that they had allotted by the studio, but they said that it took a really, really long time after they finished recording for production, and they were sort of like, well, if we had all this time before it was even released, then why did you rush us to finish the album? So they said that, they were happy with what they got, but they wish they would have had more time on the album. But with that being said, I actually really liked the album.
Yeah, I didn't know that about the album. I thought overall it was fast paced with lots of moments. I was able to reminisce to their self-titled album, which is the album that we grew up with and we listened to when we were angsty, 10-year-olds or whatever, just being scream. And I feel like they really have kept their vibe and their sound all these years without becoming similar and boring. And I enjoyed the album. I thought it was solid, but I will say that I felt like it was a safe album.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. And that probably ties back into this idea of maybe they felt like they couldn't truly experiment, because that was another thing too, is because of COVID, a lot of they really didn't they said that they barely even saw each other during this album, that they were sort of piecing it together via Zoom meetings and individual session times at the studio, and that they didn't really have a chance to collectively come together and write an album. So once again, that's how they felt, and I do agree with you that the album felt very safe, but it was a good album. It was a solid album.
I agree. Our favorite songs were H377, Chapeltown Rag, and Acidic.
And the finale was really good too.
And the finale was really good. I feel like, because Joey Jordison and Paul Gray both, have passed away and stuff, so I feel like that loss is heavy on people's hearts, but Slipknot, has had perseverance, and I think their sound will live on despite their hardships and their sadness. But I didn't know that about them not liking the album, or not liking the album, but about being rushed and stuff. But our favorite songs were H377, Chapeltown Rag, and Acidic, and then there was the finale. So for H377, I looked up an interview with Corey Taylor, and he said it was about embracing the fact that everybody hates you. It's the pure pleasure of group misanthropy. I realized a long time ago that not everybody is going to like me, largely because of my opinions and the fact that I don't keep my big mouth shut, and because of the fact that there's no one person on the planet who is loved by everyone, end quote. So
yeah, and I feel like we can relate to that because we have a couple of videos out. Please feel free to go check them out. Our review on the Beyonce album, our review on the Lady Gaga song Hold My Hand. We have a couple of saucy reviews out that people have blatantly just misconstrued. First of all, they didn't listen to what we actually had to say. They just cherry picked the one thing that they didn't like,
and then
because they're attacked us, on trolled us, which we could give a fuck. You're probably in your mom's basement.
Typical woke person.
Yeah, typical woke person. We don't fucking care. But you know, it is it is something that you have to just take with a grain of salt and be like, okay, not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody is going to like your opinions. You know, I'm sure we'll say something on this piece that somebody's just gonna be just over the moon disgusted with us by.
Right.
We can't care, and we don't care. Like, we appreciate valid opinions
and feedback
but we do not appreciate attacks,
right,
for no reason, on our opinions, because that's what they are. They're opinions. We liked this album. Once again, we thought it was a safe album, but there was some great content in it. And so and H377 sort of umbrellas a lot of ideas that are happening right now, because it's actually an Idaho bill, the H377 bill, about critical race theory. And I mean, did they talk about that in the interview?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Yeah, H377 is a bill in Idaho about critical race theory and discrimination in the classrooms. And without getting on a whole tangent about politics, because yes, this was a song that I feel like Slipknot must have some sort of opinion about, because why would they title their song the name of the bill if they didn't have some sort of stake or want in the conversation? But you know, it is getting to a point where I feel like politics and your personal feelings have to mesh. I feel like art, especially now, it's being really hard to separate art from politics, because art has gotten so political.
Right.
And anything you do is either not woke enough, or it's too woke, or, you know, people find hidden meaning in it, or whatever the case may be. So I'm not going to delve into what I personally think Slipknot believes when it comes to critical race theory, or what their politics are. Are they liberal? Are they conservative? Whatever the case may be. But it does sort of feel, and let us know in the comments below if you feel this way too, but it does feel like music and movies and just art in general is getting exponentially integrated into politics, and now it's just this one big bubble that you sort of like can't get out of. And everybody has to have a political opinion about the music, about how woke it is, about how X, Y, and Z. And Slipknot doesn't really feel like it falls. I mean, it's not pop music, so it's not really falling into like the E-news, you know, category. Right. But they're still allowed to have opinions, and those opinions are valid whether we believe in them or not.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I really liked H377. I thought it was a really interesting song.
Me too.
The other song that I really, really liked was Chapeltown Drag.
Yeah, I really like that song as well. It's about the Yorkshire Ripper. But I think that it spans beyond that. It brings it to this new age media where everything is shown is mainstream and it's completely divided. But if you take a look around, most people aren't radical. That is just what they're showing you on television, and then these people get hooked and then they become radicalized. But if you look at the everyday person, most people don't fucking care. They just want to live their lives and figure it out. And I think it ties into H377 well. I think I think in the song, one of the lyrics is, "Everybody mind your fucking business or you get hurt." I think that was a lyric in the song that I heard. And it's fucking true. Well, I'm not hurting anybody sitting here with my political beliefs. You choose to get offended.
And then that creates sort of a tide of people coming to your army or your defense. Right. And then it starts sort of snowballing. Yeah. I actually, my favorite line in that song was when they said, "When everything is God online, nothing is." And I just felt like it was so... It just really popped to me. Like, that line really popped out to me, and they did repeat it a couple times in the song, because it's true. It's this, I'm starting to feel like a tale as old as time at this point, now that the internet has been around for so long. I mean, most of our lifetimes. Yeah. And, you know, the internet has been around, and it is this, everybody's attached to online. Like the computer is almost the new God, right? In a sense, but it literally takes away everything that has any meaning.
Right.
So it is this weird dichotomy, you know? It's crazy. I really liked that song. I thought it had a lot of things to say.
Right.
And I liked Acidic. Jay Wenberg, the drummer of on this album for Slipknot, he said that this song was like a heavy blues song.
Well, that's what when I was listening to it, I was like, I wrote in my notes, it was like, this song is giving me bluesy vibes. And I loved it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was unique. I thought it was fun to listen to. I felt like it was like the march towards the end and this kind of embraced idea that we're going to experience the same fate in the end, which, bitch, we all gonna die, you know? Whatever you believe beyond that, I don't fucking care. But at the end of the day, we're all going to experience two things in our life. We're gonna experience living and we're gonna experience
dying. Yeah.
Like, those are two of the common things that we will all experience in life, or we'll all, you know, go through. So, Corey Taylor asked in one of the interviews, he says, do we embrace it or do we fight it? So write in the comments below what you think. Do we just go with the flow? Do we continue to fight back against some of these,
you know, like trying to live longer and, you know, and I'm not saying like don't cure cancer. Like cancer is an evil thing. Almost everybody that I know, we have had people taken from us from cancer. You know, like I'm not saying don't find a cure for cancer, although there probably already is a cure for cancer and it's not being sold. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. But in the same vein, where do you take away the integrity of life by trying to prolong it? All of a sudden, you know, you're 105 years old and you're in pain and you have dementia, but you're alive. And it's like, but what kind of life are you living? Right. Like, embrace life when you have it today and tomorrow, and then, you know, sort of go with the flow once you do start getting older, and appreciate the things that you had and sort of let go when it's time to let go. That's my personal opinion. Let us know how you feel. I feel like we are taking extraordinary measures to prevent death. And for what reason? It's going to happen no matter what. And I really fear a society, if we ever do find, you know, the cure for death, like, that would be a crazy world to live in.
Yeah, I agree.
How could we live in that world? Yeah. You know, so it's like sort of, what is the end game, I guess? So now I'm getting off on a tangent, but it does bring up interesting questions, and it does bring up sort of philosophical thoughts of X, Y, and Z. And that's why I always love Slipknot, because they're not just, you know, on the outside, and we'll get into this because we have a couple of really like fun Slipknot stories to tell you from our youth, but you know, it does sort of get into that thing, that idea where, like, you know, your grandparents are like, you're listening to satanic music, and it's like, no, they actually have something to say that's valid.
Right. But it's not on the nose. It's not on the nose, because that's the problem that we've always had with stuff is just being so woke and on the nose, and you're gonna listen to what I have to say and you're gonna believe it, and if you don't, then, you know, you can go fuck yourself. Where I feel like with Slipknot, you know, they say what they want to say, but it doesn't have to be like, go fuck yourself if you don't believe what we believe, you know? So I like that. How did you feel about the finale?
I loved it. I loved the creepy chorus. I loved the string section.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really beautiful way to end the album.
I wish maybe in like some parts it went just a little bit harder, but then I was thinking about it and I was like, the album's called The End so far, so I feel like if they had maybe like a crazy drum thing or something at the end that felt like so finalized, it would have felt like, okay, this is the end of the era. So I kind of
because this isn't their last album that they're ever putting out.
No, probably not. It's just called The End so far. So like for me, like it kind of does the ending. Instead of like going really, really hard and it being this kind of screamy, you know, type of end, it does lead way for, you know, the next album, or okay, what are they going to bring to the table next? Instead of, that felt like a finale. That felt like, this is the end of an era. So, but I did like it. I did.
Yeah,
like
there was a
lot.
couple honorable mentions. I mean, I really liked the disc, the DJ in the Chapel Town rag. Like the DJ parts were really cool in the finale
The
as
first
well.
first song gave me like Age of Aquarius vibes.
Yes.
Like I was felt like I was kind of tripping on drugs.
Yeah, like I was like in the hair, like
Right.
in hair,
Yeah.
70s vibe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I liked the album, regardless of what Slipknot themselves actually thought about it. And you know, the artists are always going to be the hardest on themselves.
Right.
But like you said, they've consistently put out good albums that have stayed true to their unique sound, but haven't started to feel like, well, we've heard this album before.
Right.
So
What are you bringing new to the table, you know? And
good
they
on
have
you,
fun.
Iowa, you know? Yeah. Love
Yay,
it.
let's do
Yes.
some stories. Do you
Okay.
guys have any Slipknot stories?
Let us know.
Let us know. We have a few funny ones. So, actually, with Slipknot's self-titled album, I mean, we listened to that non-stop. I mean, how old were we? Like 10?
I
don't know. Like,
but it
we
got
were
us
so
going.
young, but like we fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I probably, if you turn something on, I would be able to just
No, every
muscle
single
memory
word.
right back into
Yeah.
every single word. I loved that album, and so I bought, or I had my mom buy me or something. I wanted there was
It was either 6th or 7th grade.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there was a Slipknot backpack that I wanted so bad. I wanted that to be my backpack for school.
And it was a cool backpack.
Yeah, it was a fucking awesome
It was really
backpack.
cool.
And I think it was like $50. And you know, back then that's a lot of money for a fucking like 10-year-old, you know, or
For a
12,
backpack.
yeah, like however old I was.
Yeah.
So I begged my mom for this backpack, I think, and whatever. I got the backpack probably because I'm spoiled. I don't know. But
Well, no. I mean, you just had back surgery.
yeah,
and,
whatever. So
you know,
I
there's a lot. And you need a backpack. Like, you have to have a backpack.
yeah.
We went to school.
So I got this backpack, and I'll never forget, like, my aunt, her church had this whole thing where you got your backpacks blessed. And I was like, she was like, you should bring your backpacks to get blessed. And oh, whatever. I'm not a big thing into like that whole deal, but like, what are you going to do when you're young? Like, you have to go to church if your parents tell you have to go to church.
Yeah.
So we went and we got our backpacks blessed, and it was just, looking back, it's so fucking funny because, you know, the backpack had like a pentagram on it. It said,
And it had like the big
gothic,
safety pins like hanging off of it.
belt buckles.
Yeah,
very
you know, that whole
gothic.
sort of, what did they call them? Like the trip pants of backpacks.
Juggalos or
Yeah,
whatever,
like very juggalo feely.
Yeah.
You know, like it was gothic.
Yeah, it was a
backpack.
gothic
And I
backpack.
actually had a good Charlotte backpack, but it was a little bit more tamer.
Tame, yeah.
It was a little bit more tame.
And my aunt kept on accidentally calling Slipknot
Lipsnot.
And so now, whenever we refer to Slipknot, we always say Lipsnot because we think it's...
But the backpack got blessed as Lipsnot because our aunt, you know, had told the preacher, whoever the priest, or I don't know what they're called, the pastor, I don't know, the pastor, you know, what the name of the backpack was, and you know, you can tell the pastor's like, what the hell is going on here? I bless this backpack, Lipsnot, or whatever. I mean, it was just like...
It was comical.
It was
It was really comical.
So yeah, we like Lipsnot.
So, and then just my one last story about Slipknot, because I just find it so fucking hilarious, but back when Hot Topic was like, it and not this like preppy Hello Kitty kind of, like when it was hard, when Hot Topic was hard. Which Hot Topic is fine now, but it's just turned into something so different from what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my grandma was going to the mall, asked me if I wanted to go with her, and I was like, yeah, because I wanted to go to Hot Topic, because that was my favorite store at the time. And bless you.
Sorry.
And I wanted to, I don't know if I wanted to get something Slipknot. I wanted this Slipknot t-shirt really fucking bad. And I had seen it there before, and I was like, maybe I have saved enough money or up to go get this t-shirt or whatever. And so my grandma has no idea what Hot Topic is. She's like, Hot Topic, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's my favorite store, Grandma. I probably knew it was gonna fucking push her buttons, but it was. I really loved the store growing up. Like, I always wore like very. I'm obviously going to a Yankees game today, but
Well, we wore band t-shirts and
Yeah, like we were very kind of
Yeah.
grunge alternative growing
Yeah.
up and, you know, whatever. So this is when payphones were still a thing, by the way. So we go
We're
to the
getting old.
mall and my grandma takes me to Hot Topic. She doesn't even take a step in. She starts hysterically crying. The manager comes over. She tells the manager not to go fuck themselves, but that they should all be fired and disappointed in themselves because they're running a satanic cult. She goes to the payphone. She calls my grandpa. She's crying and very loud. Like, people in the mall are stopping and staring
They're
to watch
watching.
the show. And she's crying on the phone to my grandpa that I've been turned over to Satan and I'm part of a cult. And she's so scared that I haven't, you know, I've been strayed from God and all this stuff. And it's just a core memory that I will never fucking forget because it's so comical. It's so comical. I mean,
and it's just not that. Like, but that's what I'm saying is people will have opinions no matter what.
mm-hmm.
And if they're not willing to look at the material or dive deep and like, listen, you could, you know, she could have like accepted it and, you know, listened to the music or read the lyrics or whatever and just been like, you know what, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, she didn't even step into the store.
Or have like a conversation with me and be like, why do you like this?
Or yeah, have a conversation.
Instead of just crying because then I'm like, okay, I like it more now.
Exactly, you know?
You know?
Yeah, so definitely comical. Our music tastes were not accepted, I would say.
Yeah.
By the familia. But yeah, I mean, I liked the album. Let
I'm
us
gonna
know.
listen to it again.
Yeah, let us know if you guys liked it. I like that it came out, you know, this past weekend because it's gonna start being spooky season, and yeah. I liked it. You know, I thought it was a solid album. Let us know if you guys liked it, what your thoughts were, what your favorite songs were, and we'll see you for our next review. Bye.
Twin talk, twin talk. Twin talk, twin talk.
Eggs and bacon.